third time that we're doing the Ignite session in this way, with this kind of format. So the lessons are, so the sessions, the learning sessions are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 1:30 p.m. to about 3:30 or 4 p.m. We try to finish them at around 4 at the latest. 2 hours you should expect to be here. Then the lead generating sessions are starting tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they are going to be via Zoom meeting. And Daniela either will send out by end of today or already has sent out the groups for the Zoom sessions, for the lead generating sessions. And how that will happen is at 9 a.m. sharp, you will all gather at the Zoom spot. It's going to be 5 people plus a group leader. And you'll talk about what your goals are for that 2 hours of lead generating. And then you go on, you can do either a bit of a script practice, and then you go on to do your calls by yourself, either at the comfort of your own home, or if you want to come into the office, you're welcome to do it as well. We have a couple of spaces that are nice and quiet for you to do that, using your cell phone and your computer. And then a part of your missions is to go on 10 houses, to preview 10 open houses every single week. So these are agent open houses, which usually take place between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's why we don't start earlier than 1. We start at 1:30, and we don't lead generate past 11, because usually we like. And you can probably see 2 to 4 houses at. I'm just going to close that up. You can probably see, thank you. You can probably see 2 to 4 houses every time you go for the agent open houses. And why that's useful is, first of all, you get to see the agents who are doing a lot of the selling, which is nice because you can, talk to them about the market, talk to them about the house that they're, listing. And secondly, it'll give you a fantastic idea of what's for sale. Because if you're going on a listing appointment in an area that you want to be known as the expert for, and they say, hey, this and this house just sold 2 weeks ago for this and this price, and it's a fantastic way to say, yeah, I've been in that house. I saw it at the agent open house, so I know exactly what you're talking about. That pink kitchen really was great, or something along those lines. So it's fantastic to do that. Did that answer that? Yeah? Okay.
What is Zoom? I'm sorry.
It's like so Daniela will send out a link. It'll take you to Google Hangouts. It's like a face, yeah. It's a video conference kind of deal. Randall?
So Daniela will be sending that out today at some point.
Yes.
And certain days that's not going to work with my schedule. That's fine to kind of come and go from.
Absolutely. So we are recording. That little guy records all the sessions. So if you do, I know that 2 people can't make it out today that signed up from different brokerages. I'll be sending this to them so that they could catch up on an off day. But yeah, it's completely fine. It's life. We definitely like the commitment, and the commitment actually is there for the accountability part of it. But we understand it's life. Okay. Also, if you would notice at the back of the room, we have these beautiful, beautiful boards called leaderboards, and you can find your name on there. Claudia, you're on there. Vanessa, you're on there. Varun, Randall, you're all on there. And every time that we come back, so for instance, when we're back here on Wednesday, and we've had 2 lead generation times, which is Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning, that's when we're writing down our numbers. So for all of the things that we'll be tracking. Sorry, I'm just gonna go back there just so I can read it properly. So it's the daily 10-4, so 10 additions to the database, DB is the database, 10 calls to connect, 10 notes to follow up, and 10 agent open houses. So these are your 4 activities, and you have to do 10 connections within each activity. So 10 notes, 10 agent open houses, but that's for the week. So 10 additions to database, that's for each mission. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 10 calls to connect, that's also Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 10 notes to follow up, that's for the week. And 10 agent open houses, that's for the week. And these are just the milestones. So number of appointments you did that week, number of signed agreements, number of written contracts, and number of closed contracts. So throughout the session, we don't have much time together. I mean, a month is quite some time. You will be able to see, we say 90 days. It takes about 90 days for you to see real results and kind of pick the right fruit from this tree that you're going to be inputting into your database. But it's not been unheard of that people are going on appointments every single week with a productivity program like this, that's for sure. And we'll be doing the tracking for it because that's the accountability part. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up this little door and then we'll get started. Thank you all so much for coming and on time. Very much appreciated. So this is my first time doing the ignition, the very first session, Ignite Your Business. I did the very last session, which is Ignition Blast Off, which was super fun. So please bear with me. I believe that, I love teaching on this subject. I think it's really, really important. And so did you all get you all have the materials, right? You all got the PDF stuff sent to you? Yeah?
Yes.
And then you were able to retrace it into my KW?
Was I supposed to get this PDF as well?
You did. You should have, yeah.
I have a link to like the website, but there's nothing attached.
There's nothing attached?
No.
No problem.
From Danielle?
No, it would be from Tina Palmer. It went out sometime last week, if I'm not mistaken.
20th.
Sorry?
20th.
20th? Yeah? Okay. Sorry guys, I don't know why this just goes dark on me. Okay, perfect. All right, so welcome to Ignite. So the purpose of this chapter puts participants in the proper mindset for sparking and growing their business to achieve success. You will cover why you are here and what you expect from the mindset, the goal setting, accountability, and the scripts. So today we're going to be talking about mindset. We're going to be setting some personal and professional goals. We're going to be talking about accountability, which we covered a little bit from our leaderboard. That's part of our accountability. And then we're going to talk about scripts, and we will have scripts to practice at the end of this chapter. And Vanessa, if you can't get access to it, I have them printed out so I can give them to you right away. Okay, so welcome to Ignite. So getting your head in the game. So everybody has a pen and paper? Okay. We're going to discuss some questions. So I'm gonna give you some questions and you write down your answers, and then we're gonna take some time to discuss them. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why and why not? So you can write those down. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far, why and why not? Just gonna move on to the next question. What is the one thing that makes real estate sales representatives more successful than others? Sorry, that didn't come out right. What is the one thing that makes one real estate sales representative more successful than others? We can all answer this second one. So what do you think? The one thing that separates the really, really busy, amazing real estate professionals from all the others that are not so busy?
The lead generate regularly.
Yes, absolutely. So the most interesting thing for me is that, when we go to conferences and you compare yourself, I remember this one agent in particular, she's like, that girl, she sells 100 houses per day. She doesn't look like she does anything special. And in my head, I'm like, oh yes, she does. She works her butt off every single day lead generating. So why don't all sales representatives do this?
Makes them uncomfortable.
Okay, uncomfortable.
They miss the focus.
Okay, they're not focused.
They sometimes miss it. So when you get into a business, you get some leads, you keep following up them, but you somehow tend to forget that lead generation is also a key aspect of the business, and you should keep doing it on a regular basis without a miss.
Yeah. Anybody else?
They don't continue to stay in touch with the people,
Yeah.
or they forget about you.
It's the follow-up, yeah?
Follow.
It's the follow-up. So yeah, there's definitely, there's the lead generation and there's like the lead follow-up. So it's hard. Is it hard? Would you say that lead generation is hard? Yeah? How so?
It's challenging anyway.
Challenging.
Puts you out of your comfort zone.
Need to develop a thick skin,
Yeah? Resilience?
resilience.
Yeah, for sure.
You get sidetracked.
So write down how you feel about lead generation. Like, how does it make you feel? And why? Like, is it something that you're prepared to invest the time in? Because that's the only place that you'll be able to see your results.
I think also, especially at the beginning, don't have the system set up. I mean, there's a lot to sort of set up, and it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Absolutely. There's a big learning curve when you just get into the business. Yeah. Okay. So the last thing to think about, is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? No? No?
No way.
So I'll tell you what happened to me. This is like my story, personal story. So I took this course when I came to Keller Williams. I came in April of 2016, and I took this course in October of 2016. And of course, I was learning a lot because I hadn't worked so much from April to October. I was still with my kids a lot, one child at that time. And what happened is that I came to a halt in my kind of understanding, I was at my wit's end. Because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so I'm in this business I've only been licensed for a year and a half. I got licensed in 2015, really, and my son was like 6 months old when I finally joined a brokerage. And I was at a crossroads. I was taking this course, and I was like, okay, I have to go lead generate, What does my mentor do? My mentor door knocks. So okay, I have to go door knock. So I'm in my farm area, I'm sitting at my in my car, and I'm just like, I just will be a loser if I can't do this. I came to such a rock bottom that literally my fear of not delivering and not doing anything in real estate and just basically sitting on my license and not putting it to use, it was so much worse than going out and knocking on 100 doors that I got out there that morning. It was kind of like a rainy, misty morning, and I knocked on 75 doors. Literally. And my first door that I knocked on, I had my heart was probably right here. It's just the same thing, the same way that I started cold calling. Every time your heart is basically up here. And then I just went for it. And then probably by the 10th door, I was so happy about it. Now, the third door I knocked, I got yelled at, literally. It was an elderly woman who was incredibly nice, and I started in my neighborhood. It was the next step over to me, and I was introducing myself as a neighbor and a realtor in the area. So I know, the house prices, I keep an eye on, everything like that. And the lady literally started yelling at me. She's like, she wants to sell your house. Mom, shut the door, shut the door. And I'm like, I don't, I know that I'm not gonna make a living by just one house. I don't want to. I'm really excited to just meet you and for you to say hello. And she was really nice, and then she was motioning that her daughter is a little, but anyways. So yeah, I got over that fear, and that's because it was an away from reaction. I just didn't want to be in that place of where I wasn't doing any business. And coming home after another long day of being a star realtor, which means doing everything but lead generation, setting up my systems. Not that that's not important, that definitely adds to your success. Anyways, does anyone have similar stories? Lead generation. Yes.
I sort of do, just because I'm currently, as I got my license, I worked as an assistant, and I'm still an assistant. And he asked me when I want to step back and just become a buyer's agent, and I don't really want to because I enjoy the paycheck. But I also find it difficult to find time to do my things when he expects me to do his things.
Mm-hmm.
And I even somewhat feel guilty when I put his stuff aside to do stuff for my business.
Yeah.
But he wants me to, but at the same time, he's paying me to work on his business, So that's where I kind of get in a bit of an issue about lead generation.
Oh, okay, awesome. So what is important for him to get you started on the buyer side?
Well, he just opened up recently me to his CRM, so I'm starting to get individuals being sent my way. His big thing is just scripting. So again, so I wrote down here most important thing that differentiates great real estate agents from others, I thought, was knowledge, because I could call and talk to somebody and follow a script, but as soon as they ask me, what do you think about this area and this area, it's when I kind of buckle, because I'm not as confident about knowing that information.
Okay, yeah, so that's a really good point that you bring in, because there's a lot of blocks surrounding that, so knowledge. And have you figured out how to talk to that? When they ask you that, so you don't kind of freeze?
What I've done, no, I tell like Ryan, who I work with, and like when we're in the car, I'm like, let me bring out the maps and let me write down where are the good school areas and like make all this notes.
Yeah.
So I know when I speak to somebody, what I usually do is I just look to see what areas they're looking in and I try to just write down some stats before I jump on the call. But I mean, that just takes a long time to prep every area. I'm a W4, W3, W9,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Each phone call is a different one, so that just takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it would be just as beneficial for you to say, hey, I'm gonna hang up with this phone call, like right now, as in like, you know what, right now I don't have any of my stuff in front of me because I'm strictly lead generating, well, I'm strictly following up with phone calls right now. Why don't, I will have time this afternoon to get this information to you, would that be okay with you?
Yeah, I usually will go in like Geo Warehouse and I'll send you over the stats, but I mean more or less, so I don't have to do that. I'll be able to talk to it and be like, W8's a great area, has great schools, a lot of bungalows. You'll get, you know what I mean? Just that type of information, just so I have a better idea. I can speak to it.
Yes.
Instead of being like, yeah, it's great, I'll send you some info.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll be able to give them something.
Mm-hmm.
So when they hang up the phone call, they thought that they got information from me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so thank you for sharing. Okay, so everybody agrees that their desire to be successful is greater than their fear of lead generating, right? Okay, awesome. This is a great quote. You choose Keller Williams as the vehicle to reach your goals. Ignite helps you build the momentum to get you there fast. Fantastic. It's very Kellerized. Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the 6 personal perspectives. So number 1 is self-mastery. So self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. So self-mastery, we refer to this term a lot, and it's basically working on yourself because we're all individual agents. We don't have a boss. That's why a lot of us are in this business. So we have to work on getting ourselves in shape. So 80-20 principle, so everybody's familiar with the 80-20 rule, which is 20% of your activities give you 80% of your business. From entrepreneurial to purposeful, I call this from entrepreneurial to process, which we'll be able to get into a little bit more. Number 4 is learning-based. We are a learning-based company. We believe that learning and acquiring new knowledge and seeing how people do things differently, your business differently, or the best practices of a business should definitely be written into your business plan and sprinkled throughout the year to give you that motivation and that breath of fresh air, so to call it, and maybe a little bit of a different perspective on how to do your business better. And no limiting beliefs, and we'll definitely be getting into that today. And the last one is accountability, which is something that we touched upon earlier. So basically being accountable. So the goals that we set, especially, this is not a super crazy hard start to the business, especially for some of you who are just starting out. But even the small, the small goals that we set, like 10 people to your database, 10 quality leads to your database, that just has to be the basis, right? Like it just goes without saying that everybody can do it. It's absolutely manageable, and we are holding ourselves accountable. So we're all saying, yes, this is our accountability, our Ignite session, this is our time to lead generate. We can do this. And you can all choose an accountability partner within this group. So a scripting partner as well as an accountability partner where you check in with 10 to 15 minutes every single day that you can script practice with, as well as you can review any kind of achievements or setbacks that you're experiencing. Okay, so getting the most out of Ignite. So for those of you who So for those of you who have not yet gotten the paperwork for this, and if we miss anybody, we'll definitely send it out to you for sure. So at the beginning of each session, so we had the mission, action reveal, mission expectation, and ground rules. At the very beginning, we're going to, it's kind of like a checklist for you. So you'll be able to see what has to be done, and then you can check it off. It is a lot, so if you don't get through it all, it's fine. What I found useful is getting through as much as possible, then going through the activities with the instructor, like myself for today, and then subsequently all the different instructors, and then going back and making notes on stuff that you think you're gonna use in your business, okay? We're going to go back for just 1 second. So the 6 personal perspectives. So number 1 is self-mastery, which I've read about. So the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to self-mastery, you know your goals, know your strengths and your weaknesses, know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek the master and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habit to reach your goals. Commitment to the 80-20 principle. The idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. So I just wanted to expand just a little bit more on the 80-20 principle. When we were at Family Reunion, which is like a really big event for Keller Williams agents, it happened last week, we just got back. Oh, it was from the 16th to the 19th. This concept of time. Gary Keller, our president, our visionary, the creator of this company, he emphasized this a lot. Time that we all have and we all crave, the fact that you're super duper busy with time, the fact that you're working long hours in this business does not necessarily make you productive. So busyness in and of itself does not predict your outcomes. So really what you have to be really purposeful in achieving is that 80-20 principle. So if you do that 20%, really 20% in each and every day from Monday to Friday, and you achieve that, you'll get really fantastic results and you'll be able to live the life that you want. So he really was saying and emphasizing the fact that just because you're a busy agent doesn't mean you're productive, and you really should focus on being purposeful with your time versus becoming a slave to your job, basically. Which is, we all falter at that. We do, especially because we don't have the regular 9 to 5. We're like, okay, we'll work a little bit in the morning and then maybe a little bit in the afternoon. Oh, but I have to catch up to prepare for the day tomorrow. So then I end up working until midnight or 1 a.m. And it really eats away at your efforts and your health and happiness and a bunch of stuff. So move from E to P. So high achievers are always looking for the purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behavior. You can attain a certain level of success utilizing your natural abilities, but expect to hit a ceiling at some point. Wouldn't you like to achieve even greater success and break through that ceiling? How about living a larger life or attaining your goals? Just want to take a minute. Who is good? Who here is good at certain aspects of real estate? Like, who is really awesome at certain aspects of real estate? Who's good at lead generating? Who's good at follow-up? Who's good at information gathering for your clients? Anyone? No? Okay. Well, okay, I'll just serve. Okay, Randall, what are you good at? What do you like about the business? What do you...
Analyzing properties and areas, even regions, for growth potential, or to find if there's opportunities there to purchase rental properties, as an example.
Fantastic. Okay, awesome. Okay,
I
So-
have a habit of doing a follow-up.
Yeah?
Follow-up, yes.
okay, that's really, really, really good.
So
Okay,
I keep in mind wherever I need to make a call, put an email.
Together? Mm-hmm. And then of course you're putting all that into your database so that your database grows and fantastic. Okay. So from E to P. So the reason why I wanted to expand on this is you will get a lot of business from the knowledge that you acquire from all the analyzing that you do. You will. You will. But it might not be as big as you need it or want it, but you'll get business. You get business probably, to keep you going over the years, for sure. You too, you will also get really good business from the follow-ups. I mean, what's good about loving to follow up with people is it ties into customer service, right? So when you do actually finish with that client, and that client gives you a review, it could funnel back into your, I call it before mets. So before the people you meet, you can put it on Google, you can put it on Facebook, you can put it on thing, and you will get some interest. So you will also be doing good business if you just focus on your entrepreneurial strength, which is your follow-up. Why we talk about moving from E to P, they say, I call it process because we're all about process at Keller Williams. If you do something more than twice, you turn it into a process and you automate it. Is because you have to do the process type things and you have to do the lead generation if you actually want to accelerate as fast as you want to go and to be as big as you want to be, right? Because nobody's good naturally at lead generation. I'm also good at follow-up. I love chatting to people. I have no issue with somebody with a warm lead that I know to call them up and say, hey, how you doing? Can I help you with anything real estate related? But it will not give me the funnel that I need in order to make those conversions happen. Okay, make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. An individual who has made the decision to use the effective learnings as the foundational piece for their action plan to develop their life. Training and education are a big part of moving forward to attain your goals and succeed at a high level. Learning-based individuals commit to the process of acquiring skills-based habits. Ignite is just a start for you as a learning-based individual. Keller Williams plug. Keller Williams Realty offers many learning opportunities for you, and they do. So, how are you feeling about learning right now? Okay, so you're doing the Ignite program. What's next? Like, what are you doing? Some self-development? Are you planning on doing some? What are those real estate courses? Oh, everybody has them, and I can't just think of the name right now. Buffett.
Thinking like seller specialist.
Yeah.
SRS.
Yeah.
Seller representative specialist and ABR accredited by a
Okay.
representative.
Fantastic. So those are just all to add to your current credentials, right? So sales representative / accredited negotiation specialist or whatever it is, buyer specialist, downsizing specialist. Okay. Okay. Remove your limiting beliefs. So for high achievers, remove limiting beliefs from their thinking that hold them back. In order to successfully develop at a higher level, you need to clear your mind of limiting beliefs first. For example, are any of these thoughts in your head? I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. Raise your hand. Yeah? Okay. I can't be successful yet. I will need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. Raise your hand. That's good. Because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. Raise your hand. Okay, so everybody, okay. So the limiting belief right now that we have, most common, is I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. Yeah? Okay. So there are two things that I say to that. First of all, you're standing on the shoulders of giants. And I say that quite often. Because of the culture that we have, and I'm sure that a lot of other offices share that with us in brokerages, please use the resources of your colleagues who have 10, 11, 12, 25 plus years of experience to gain that knowledge. If you don't know something, just call them up and ask them for help. Claudia, would you agree?
Yeah.
You can call Carolyn and be like, hey Carolyn, I don't know how to talk to this, could you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And secondly, when lead generating, you never know what questions they're gonna ask you. You might be able to answer them like 70% of the time. So are you gonna miss out on 70% of your leads because you're afraid of that 30 that you won't be able to answer? Why take that chance? Because I'll be honest, in the lead generation that I've done, I have not been, I couldn't speak to something very rarely.
You mean you always have some?
Something to share with them, some website to send them, that they could read more about it, some resource to share with them. Sorry, I keep opening and closing, but it's kind of gets hot in here. So, this is Norm, everyone.
Hey guys and girls, how are you? So you're spread out, so some of the faces I recognize. Sorry to interrupt you guys, just
No,
for 30
no.
seconds.
Yeah.
Gotta take the time, I recognize a couple of faces, but not everybody else. Welcome those that I don't recognize. And we've been in business for 5 years, and this course has been taught for 5 years now,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yes.
And it's we're advancing it course to course to course, and such that the drivers behind it going forward are going to be not just managing your relationships in your database, which is probably what you're talking about today,
Yeah.
to some degree,
Mhm.
but it's going to be the technology behind that. And we just had that conversation recently. And it just I've just been on a 2-hour conference call on the subject of, Joe, you like this, the subject of technology and how it's going to, one place to go to can be called Command to run your entire business, and the rest of your life for that matter. But it's going to be well designed, and we're spending a lot of time, energy, and money on it so that you can differentiate yourselves from the competition in the marketplace, whatever marketplace you're in. So it's spectacular, and it's just developing and coming very nicely. So work hard on relationship development, everybody. If I can leave anything with you, that's your whole life going forward, is developing deeper relationships with everybody that you meet. Eventually, they'll realize you're in the real estate business. But you've got to tell them that also. Don't just leave it with them. Tell them that. And that's where they're going. Develop relationships, know you're in the real estate business, and ask for their help. On that note,
Thank
for
you.
now.
Thank you for introducing
A little
yourself.
snippet.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Norm, just turn it on. Awesome. So Norm's been in corporate world for a really long time, and then he switched to a career in real estate, was very successful with his wife, Tassie, and their kids, Courtney and 80. He's not practicing, but he's a broker of record and operating partner. So that was nice. Okay, so how can we turn limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs? Okay, so this is a really big one for me. Removing your limiting beliefs, because everybody's familiar with Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Is anybody familiar with his protege Mirka? No? Okay, so I had the privilege of signing up through the Tony Robbins seminar to the Mirka seminar. And one of the things that she's really big on is, removing some, either memories or beliefs from your subconsciousness and your consciousness in order to move you past them. So right now, if you have a limiting belief of, for instance, I can't be successful yet, I will need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. So right now, we're going to be going through the exercise of your big why. Eventually, in a couple of pages, we're going to get to our big why, and why are we in this, and what does our amazing life look like. And you have to believe, without a shred of a doubt, in your subconscious mind as well as in your conscious mind, that you can achieve your goal. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't have to be billionaire status. It doesn't have to be 10 people. But you literally have to believe, if it's $75,000, yes, I can achieve this goal this year of having $75,000 in gross commission income. Because this is what happens. If you say it enough times, you will eventually start believing it. But if you don't say it and you're like, oh, blah, 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 I don't know, then your subconscious takes over and it literally goes like, I believe it, when you say it out loud. I believe it, yes, aye, Captain. And then when you don't, then your subconscious goes, oh, but I don't. There's this something in my head that's telling me I can't do it. And then your subconscious goes, aye, Captain, you can't do it. And then you say it out loud again. The problem is that our subconscious is very, very strong compared to our consciousness. So if we don't make a conscious effort to say to ourselves, yes, this is achievable. Yes, I can do this. I've got the skills. I've got the knowledge. I've got the discipline to do this. Then our subconscious will take over and it'll stop us in our tracks. Because our subconscious works all the time. It actually never shuts off, even when we sleep. So before bed, you can write down your affirmations and your gratitude for the day. Say, I believe this, or whatever it may be. I will achieve my 10 contacts to the database tomorrow. Or I will achieve that this week. I will write my 10 notes and I will have a listing appointment this week. And you have to just keep reminding yourself until you are living it. Because if you don't keep reminding yourself, you'll just keep living the same life and achieving the same goals and be fearful of the same fears. So this limiting beliefs thing is huge. It's very huge, and it leads exactly into your big why. Okay, and step number 6, be accountable. Accountability is the first and foremost an attitude and an approach to your entire life. An accountable person says, everything in my life is a result of my choices and my actions. I own my life. Accountability is also a tool for continually changing the results in your life in those areas that matter most, your 20%. The person who is accountable in their 20% says, I own my life, and in certain areas I want to continually improve my results. I will be purposeful and I will be learning-based and continue improving. Ignite will provide you with the tools to develop and cultivate your accountability to be successful. Okay, so this is a really good phrase to push off from. An accountable person says, everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life. Who feels very strongly that they agree with that statement? 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Yeah?
I agree with it.
You
Doesn't
agree?
mean I'm living it.
You agree with it, yeah?
No, I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's where I kind of find, there are these, I was lucky. I meet a lot of agents that just, I'm like, you're doing really well in your business. I'm lucky. I don't even know where my business comes from. I'm lucky. So luck is, what do they say? It says, where preparation meets opportunity, right? So I always try to tell those agents, I'm like, no, you did the work somewhere. You're not lucky, and it's paying off. So just keep doing what you're doing, and the results will show. I think that's the most important part. It's the belief that the little steps that you're taking each day will pay off 90 days from now, which is so important to believe. And now, right now, we're going to be talking about the big why, or this session we're going to be creating our big why. We're going to talk about the big why. And then throughout this session, you're going to take these little tiny steps that we have outlined on our leaderboard in order to put the process in place to achieve that big why. And you're going to do it blindly for the first couple of weeks or for the first couple of sessions, but you have to do it blindly. And you have to do it just on the belief that these systems have been tried and tested the results have been recorded, and you can get the same results if you put in the same amount of work. Okay, so when you adapt these 6 personal perspectives, 80-20, accountable, stop limiting beliefs, self-mastery, and from entrepreneurship to process, and learning-based, you should be very, very successful in your real estate career. Okay. All right, guys. So, action reveal. So you have to have an email address, your note cards, Ignite page on KW Connect. Again, you don't have to have a KW, you have your email, you have your business email. We do suggest that you buy like I don't know, you can get like 30 thank you cards at Walmart or any other store. I think I might have a few in my office, so if anybody needs help starting off, I can get you some thank you cards. And what is the one way Gary Keller says it takes to achieve success in real estate? What are some of the habits of high-performing agents? What are your ahas about KW technology? Okay. We're gonna do something a little bit. Does everybody have this kind of page?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That's okay. You can read about it later. Getting the most out of this experience. So I thought that this was like really interesting, but it's stated, so I'd like to read it. So you've begun the exciting journey towards sparking your business and attaining your dreams. You're not simply a student or learner in Ignite, you're a capper in training. That's a KW term, but basically you're out to make $100,000 in gross commission income. So what kind of capper in training will you be in Ignite? The prisoner has to be or doesn't want to be there and doesn't know why they're there. I don't think anybody's here for that purpose because really, we're not made to come here, it's voluntary. The vacationer, a day in training is better than a day on the job. And the explorer, excited and curious about the new knowledge, skills, and tools they will discover in class. Well, we are going to assume that everybody is the explorer. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about your personal big why. Then we're going to set some monetary goals in the Career Growth Initiative calculator. Be accountable to your big why and monetary goal, and use influencing sales language. Not for 3 business calls today, but we're going to talk about scripting. So, did I miss something?
It's just in that one of the
Last one.
qualifiers for being a prisoner is that you pick fights with the
Oh.
trainer and other participants. It just seems like an odd practice in a group.
I know. like word fights. I think
Right,
that's what
right.
there have never been brawls in this. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So let's talk about 19 to 22. I'm sorry that. So we're going to take just another 15 minutes to break down our big why, and then we're going to take a short break, well, 15-minute break, and then we're going to go back here to do some learning. So, know your big why and monetary goals. So, number 1 is when setting your big why. Okay, so first of all, who's heard of this concept before and who's heard it ad nauseum?
Sorry, of which concept?
You've heard it a lot? Yeah? Okay. Sorry?
Sorry, which concept?
The big why. Somebody's big why. Yeah, you've heard it?
Kind of,
Yeah.
Like their purpose in their life.
Yeah. Why you know. So everybody's big why changes a lot. I know that when I was going through the course, I actually nobody's ever asked me about the big why, and I was incredibly confused as to why I'm planning on such a grandiose scale in my life. And then after I got thinking about it, I realized that, yeah, it actually has to bring it to something big. Like, you have to be emotional about this big why. And I think the only thing for me that makes me emotional is my kids. And I came to this realization because right now I'm working with a MAPS coach, which is something that Keller Williams does, and they have a special one for team leaders. And everybody could get a coach, which I would highly recommend them. I think the return on investment is incredible. I think the payoff is incredible. You can get one for like $450 a month. And he literally, I love how he ties everything into family. So he's like, okay, this happened, okay, and if you don't do this, okay, and then what happens? Okay, this way, okay, and then what does it do to your family? So for me, personally, that's like my biggest driver. And I tend to be not an emotional person. I try to take emotion out of business. But what I'm learning from people like Brene Brown, to be successful in business, you have to bring in emotion into your business. So your big why really has to be what tugs at your heartstrings. And it doesn't have to be necessarily like a negative emotion, because there's a away from emotion, so we run away from pain, and there's a toward emotion. So the beautiful, utopic future that we build for ourselves and our families in our heads that we try to move towards and fund. So vacations, happy, healthy kids, beautiful memories, great pictures, photo albums full of activities that you can, share when they're like teenagers and they don't want to hang out with you. Be like, hey, we did this when you were 6 or 7. How cool was that? So your big why actually has to do more with the good stuff than the pain. But it does have to take you to a happy, emotional place, so that whenever you are in doubt or whenever you're feeling, I just don't want to do this today, and then you can kind of see like the emotion behind the good, you can take yourself to a good emotional place of why you're doing all of this and why you're achieving what you want to achieve. And then it propels you to do those little tasks on the daily to move you forward in your big why. Does it make sense? Yeah? Okay, so some questions to think about. What stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? The answers to these questions are the basis for your big why. And to fuel that big why the big why will make you money and an income goal. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it, your big why. So be brutally honest with yourself. Why are you in this business? And what drives you? I'm just gonna read these so you can kind of ask yourself these questions as you're writing. What is your driving motivation, the why, your goal for a career in real estate? Well, what will achieving your goal mean for you? In what ways will your life change? And what doors will it open for you? How's everyone doing? Good, a few more minutes? checking in. Anybody want to share?
Well, just 2 seconds.
Okay, no problem. Take your time, we have time. Okay, time's up. Who wants to share? Who's willing to share for Big Y? Yes.
So my big why is to be an inspiring example to my son by living and showing him how to live a good life built on financial freedom, health, and meaningful experiences with family and friends.
That's amazing. So it's definitely like a towards statement, and it's an emotional statement. That's awesome.
And then below that, there's the question, should I answer those, like what could stop you, or
Well, yeah, you can do it.
just losing focus could stop, or just by actually not doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you prevent that? Just by being accountable and through consistent reminders of the steps.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have sort of similar ones, the freedom, financial, being independent, and also share that then with my family and being able to travel, spend more time with family.
Yeah,
So these are
that's fantastic.
main things. And also, I guess to put all the things I've learned, all the courses, put that into practice, and being able to help people find their homes and sell their homes.
Amazing. Okay, that's a great start. Okay, and we're gonna take 5 more minutes before we take a break. Imagining the big future. So imagine 12 months from now, and this is the day 12 months from now to date. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you're focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're the top sales representative in your market center or Rookie of the Year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You're on the path to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Does that sound like a big, bright future? Sounds awesome. So an amazing, a little exercise based on this, the big future, just imagining your future. Again, it's the purpose is to take you to a really, really awesome, happy, emotional place so that when you are having trouble, as with your big why, and you're losing your momentum and you're like, okay, well, you're just not doing it. Well, why are you not doing it? Let's take you to a better place so that you can always have a way to propel yourself forward. Now, part of it comes with accountability. So like we're gonna have accountability throughout this course, but what happens after, right? So that's just for after. And it's not easy. It's so not easy because we're kind of, unless you're actively participating in your brokerage and the events and the team meetings and coming into the office, it's so easy to be a lone wolf in this industry, or unless you're on a team. When you're on a team, it's kind of like you've got the brain thinker kind of always keeping you on top of things and holding you accountable. So really, this is an incredibly big part for you yourself personally and as an individual agent to help you move forward in your business. Okay?